We all knew our pets got up to some weird stuff, right? Secret Life of Pets. I'm just going to say right now, guys, normally I try and do the animation focus episodes like maybe once a month, not too much more often than that. They're going to kind of come in rapid succession. That wasn't planned. It's just kind of going to be what happens. I saw Batman Bad Bloods. I've got that review coming out. The Killing Joke is coming out soon. There's this, there's a lot of anime stuff going on. It's just what's happening. But anyways, this is the latest offering from Illumination. Now, if you don't know that name, they're the studio behind Despicable Me and the Minions, who you either love or are sick to death of. So the question is Illumination able to move out of the Despicable Me comfort zone into something a little bit different, a little bit, I was going to say more real world, but it's not really. I'll kind of come back to that. But how does it hold up? Honestly, it's pretty good. It's not great, but it is good. It's solid, it's fun, it's energetic. There's some great slapstick, which Illumination really excels at. I mean, obviously, the Minions, that's slapstick at its broadest and most basic, but it works and it does really well. Now, as far as story goes, it deals in a broad sense with, what do your pets get up to when you're not home, when you go to work, when you go to school, whatever. So it's starting from that premise, and it deals, it's set in New York City. It deals with a dog named Max, whose owner has brought in a new dog, kind of a rescue dog named Duke, who is very big, very slobbery, very not something that Max wants in his home. And there is friction between the two of them. They end up on the street and need to try and find a way home. That's your basic storyline. And basically, the movie is at its best when it sticks to its premise that the title implies, which is, what are your pets up to when you're not around? Most of the best, cleverest moments, jokes, scenes, etc. spawn out of that. As the pets sort of move from one apartment to another to see each other, to hang out. There's an old dog whose owner is almost never home, and his is like the hopping place to be because you can do anything. Stuff like that is funny, it's clever. There's a lot of characters in this. I personally kind of liked Chloe the cat because it's just very cat attitude. I'm a dog person in reality, but the cat was hilarious, and I loved just her nonchalance. That she has a great line that said, "Look, I say this as your friend. I don't care about you or your problems." I'm like, yep, that's a cat. But all the dogs are good, dude. They're fun too. But what ends up sort of taking over the story is this more over the top. Basically, once the rabbit, the character of Snowball, shows up, the thing kind of goes in an odd direction. And I'm not really going to consider this a spoiler because if you've seen really any of the trailers, you know that this is in there, that there's sort of this, society of lost or forgotten or abandoned pets, sort of led by Snowball, and they have a vendetta against humanity. And it's just a little bit too much. There was more than enough stuff to mind, just trying to get, Max and Duke home. They didn't need to bring in this more outlandish element, which brings in stuff that kind of breaks the reality of it. Because, like I said, the cleverest stuff all fits within the idea of, hey, it's cartoonish, sure, but that sort of thing could happen when I'm not around. But then this whole other plot brings in this other stuff, like, that's a little much. But I kind of like with Finding Dory, the faults that I find with this, the target audience are not going to find with this. I took my daughter to this. She loved it. She loved absolutely everything about it. So this is, again, the adult, critical mind looking at children's entertainment. But, I am still going to judge it as the kind of person I am. And, these are things that I kind of wish they hadn't done or they could have adjusted. And also, like most other Illumination projects, if they have a sort of toilet humor joke, they'll hint at it and it's kind of funny, then they'll say it outright about 5 seconds later. It's like, yeah, okay, we got it before, or at least I did. Again, my much younger child laughed her head off when they did that. So, again, they clearly know their audience. That's why Minions makes $1 billion. But this is not Minions with animals, even though it has a lot of the same kind of humor. It has a whole lot of slapstick. There's a ton of characters, like to the point that I almost would think, are there too many characters? Except they're all really visually distinctive. I'm not necessarily sure they all have distinctive personalities, but they're all funny and energetic enough that you don't mind that there's a lot of them. But just if for no other reason, it's certainly never visually boring with how many of them there are. So overall, this was a good, fun time. I like I said, my daughter loved it. You as an adult being dragged to this by your child, you will not feel like you need to blow your brains out. And if you are an adult who enjoys the art of animation, it is worth seeing. It is fun. It's not transcendent in any way, but not everything needs to be. And with a summer as dreary and full of crud as we've had, honestly, the sort of light palate cleanser type of thing, I'll gladly take it. So that's The Secret Life of Pets. Have you seen it? What were your thoughts on it? Whatever they were, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. Please give a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Council of Geeks. Check out the Council of Geeks podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. And as for me, I'll be back as soon as I can get my next fix.